Okay, we will call the special meeting to order. And Claire, may we have a roll call, please?
Fuller,
Here.
Palumbo,
Here.
Lippman,
Here.
Benazzi,
Here.
Chamora,
Here.
DeGenero,
Here.
Roneski,
Here.
Fujielli, Caramanica,
Here.
Chairwoman Beal.
Here. Okay, and if we can stand for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the notice requirements of the open public meeting law for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the notice having been sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster and filed in the office of the Township Clerk on July 21st, 2023. There is an emergency exit through the courtroom doors and 2 exits at the rear of the room. There will be no smoking, no new cases will be started after 10 o'clock p.m., and no new testimony taken after 10:30 p.m. In addition, the applicant will be limited to 45 minutes of testimony. All meetings will be video and audio taped and shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. All cell phones must be turned off, or if you need to make a call, please make your call outside of the room. We have one case that will be carried to April 16th, a special meeting, 44 Monmouth Road. Start time will be 7 o'clock p.m., and no additional notice is needed.
And Madam Chair, just to be clear on that, so if you're here on the memo investments application this evening, which is 44 Monmouth Street, that's going to be heard on April 16th at 7 p.m. You will not receive any further notice. You need to be in this room at 7 p.m. that evening if you want to participate in the application.
Okay? We have 2 resolutions for memorialization.
Madam Chair, there was also the other matters being adjourned. The Hamani, HAM.
Oh, yes.
32 Overbrook.
Yes. An additional case is carried to March 21st in this room, the regular start time, and that is Marjorie Hamawi, Block 22, Lot 31, 232 Overbrook Avenue, Oakhurst, Zone R4.
And again, I'll just do this just for the sake of the record. So again, if you're on that application, 232 Overbrook Avenue, that's being adjourned to March 21st, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. In this room, you will not receive any further notice. If you want to be heard in that application, you need to be here at that time. Thank you.
Okay. And we have 2 resolutions for memorialization. Alan Sasan, Block 24, Lot 1, 300 Monmouth Road in West Deal. Philip and Celia Seller, Block 26.08, Lot 15.09, 302 Crimson Circle in Ocean. And I will offer, is there a second?
I'll second. I don't think I can second. I wasn't here.
Yeah, if you weren't here, you can't. It's only those who were here for the meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Fuller,
I wasn't here.
Lippman,
Yes.
Benazzi,
Yes.
Chamora,
Yes.
Roneski,
Yes.
Caramanica,
Yes.
Chairwoman Beal.
Yes. Our first case, Ryan Grove and Amanda Semecki, Block 22, Lot 33, 238 Overbrook Avenue, Zone R4. This applicant you can come up. This applicant seeks approval to modify the layout of the detached garage apartment to, as well as add an AC condenser and outdoor shower to the exterior of the building. Accessory structures must maintain required 30 feet front yard setback and 10 feet side and rear. 0-foot rear to AC condenser pad and 6 feet rear to outdoor shower proposed. Both proposed AC and outdoor shower are within the floodplain. And if you can raise your right hand.
Well, Madam Chair, if I may, before we
Okay.
swear them in, we were advised prior to the meeting, and I believe you were both advised by our engineer, that he does not have enough information tonight based upon what was submitted to proceed with the application tonight. He needs more information. He needs, I guess he's discussed with you what you need. So I don't want to waste your time tonight, because if you try to proceed tonight, you're going to get denied
Yes.
Okay.
because the board doesn't have the information that it needs
Okay.
to decide the application. So
Thank you.
if we can, I believe we said the April 18th meeting is what we're going to carry you to, which should give you enough time to get the information you need, get it to Bennett, let him review it. He'll get it to him as soon as possible. He'll let you know if it's sufficient or not. And that gives you enough time before April 18th, and we're not going to make you renotice,
Okay.
okay?
All right, so just.
I just don't want to waste your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So if that's okay, Madam Chair, then we'll carry this application, and to the public, if you're here on that application, which is, this is the, what's your address? 238 Overbrook Avenue, Block 22, Lot 33 application. That's going to be carried to the April 18th meeting at 7:30 without further notice. You will not receive any further notice. If you want to be heard, you need to be here that evening at 7:30 p.m. in this room. Okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. We'll see you in April.
What exact information did you need, just the
What?
elevation point?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we need a topographic survey that shows what the elevations are of your first floor of the garage that you're renovating.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Second case, Michael Soilu, Block 140.13, Lot 3, 1 Park Place, Ocean, Zone R4. Applicant proposes to construct a covered front porch within the front yard setbacks. Minimum front yard setback 30 feet required, 24.5 feet. Parkview Avenue, 29 feet. Bimbler Boulevard proposed. And the attorney is Richard Tilton Esquire. And I apologize. I live on Bimbler. Do I have to recuse myself? I don't know exactly.
Are you on the 200-foot list? It's on Park Place, right?
Right, which
You know,
is,
I would, the property owner list was really short, and I would have remembered your name being on it.
okay, because sometimes my husband gets it and forgets to give it
I would have said,
to me.
oh, it's my lucky day. Your name's not on it, I'm positive.
Okay, okay. I just didn't want my husband to get it and didn't
Do you
pass
want,
it along.
Claire, do you have the 200-foot list? Just
I
to
do.
triple-
I do.
Yeah, let's just triple check.
I apologize, it just, it
No,
did not,
it's better for you to raise it than.
it did not dawn on me. Okay.
good. You're free.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I just saw it and it just, okay, back to business now. So, Mr. Tilton?
Yes, Madam Chair, Richard Tilton, Allenhurst, New Jersey. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Mr. Swaloo. As you know, the property is in the Colonial Terrace section of town. It's on Bimbler. I dare say everyone has driven past this house. When you come through, like off of Wickapeco onto Bimbler, it's the house that sits up on the hill. It has 3 frontages. The house is known as 1 Park Place that faces Deal Lake. It has frontage on the west side by Bimbler Boulevard and to the north side, Parkview. The front yard setback for the de facto on Park Place, it complies. But because the Bimbler Boulevard and Parkview are technically also front yards for the property, there's a problem with the setbacks for those.
All right, Mr. Tilton, let me just mark in the exhibits that I have.
Sure.
So Exhibit A1 is going to be the application itself. Exhibit A2 would be the boundary and partial topographic survey. Exhibit A3 are the architectural plans, and those are all the exhibits I have on the applicant's behalf. I then have the following board exhibits. Exhibit B1, as in Board 1, would be the zoning officer's report. Exhibit B2 would be the board planner's report, and Exhibit B3 would be the board engineer's report. And I just want to make sure that you do have all 3 of those board exhibits.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I also have, if it's needed, I'll just pass out. This would be A4. It's just a photograph of the front of the house. I made copies if you want.
Thank you.
There's actually a lot of geese there the day that I went to visit. They were not cooperating.
You have extras for us?
Oh, yes, of course.
All right, so it's two photos at the front of the house.
Yes, this is the facing the front of the house. And to the right is Parkview. Up to the far left is Bimbler, and standing in front of it would be Park Place, the property front. You can see there's a small enclosed porch, and the applicant proposes to remove that and have a covered porch placed essentially running along the front of the house to make it look a little grander, a little more appropriate. Mr. Nemergut is here. To my left, was he sworn in?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay.
You do it, I'm sorry.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, I know Mr. Nemergut has been before the board before.
Yes.
Okay.
N is in Nancy, E, M is in Mark, E-R-G-U-T. First name Mark, M-A-R-C.
Okay. And Mr. Nemergut, you prepared the plans that are before the board, is that correct?
I did, yes.
And if you would just maybe give them the benefit, probably the elevations as to what exists and what's proposed.
So what I'm referring to here is drawing A2, which is part of Exhibit A3. These are the front and side elevations of the project. This is the proposed view of the porch. As Rich mentioned, that there's a small vestibule on the front of the structure right now that is currently, doesn't really serve as a porch. It's more of just an airlock or an area to shelter the door. That is being removed. The balance of the house is staying as is. This is solely just the porch addition, an open porch addition. We tried our best to integrate it into the house so that it looked like it had always been there. It is a fairly straightforward porch of approximately 7'8" depth and approximately 33'8" wide. It does not extend all the way to the edges of the building. We knew that we had some issues with the front yard setbacks on the sides, if you will. But also structurally, or I should say architecturally, it blends in a little better by not going all the way to the edge of the building. Other than that, it's a fairly standard porch, wood frame structure. It is, as we mentioned, open. It has 36-inch high standard vinyl railing, as seen in the image. Has 4 10-inch diameter, or square columns, I should say, to support it. A hipped roof with asphalt composite shingles, and all the materials will match all the standard of the house and neighboring properties.
And that's our application. This is a pretty straightforward application.
And I'll just swear in our professionals, who our professional swearing testimony they're about to give would be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, self and God.
I do.
Thank you both.
Well, I'll start basically, it's a very difficult site because it's narrow, it's triangular in shape with 3 frontages, and the variances are just to the sides of the porch, not to the front of the porch. And they're both within the sides of the house, so it's not like this porch sticks out beyond the sides of the house. And the master plan actually recommends relaxing the front yard setback standards for covered porches so that the properties are more usable. So I don't have any problem at all with this application.
Mr. Matlack?
I don't have any engineering issues with it.
Okay. Questions from board members? Questions or comments from the public? Okay, motion to close the public hearing.
A motion.
Second.
All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And is there an offer?
I'll move for positive resolution.
I'll second. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next case, Brendan Donahue, Block 104, Lot 21, 1308 Franklin Parkway, Ocean, Zone R4. Applicant seeks approval to construct a one-story rear addition, second-floor addition, covered front and side porches, and a patio. Minimum front yard setback 30 feet required, 19.3 feet to covered front porch proposed. And Mr. Donahue, if you can raise your right hand, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
Okay. And I will ask Mr. Higgins and Mr. Matlack for their
And
reports.
let me just
Oh.
swear them both in. Do you both swear that any testimony you're going to give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and all the God?
I do.
Thank you.
And,
My report's fairly short, so I'll just read it in. The applicant proposes to construct a 12-foot by 16-foot, one-story addition, which is a kitchen, to the rear of the building, a small second-story addition, which is a bathroom, to the center of the building, and a 6-foot deep, 27 feet 4-inch wide covered front porch. Variances for minimum front setback. The ordinance requires a 30-foot front setback. The existing front yard setback is 25.3 feet, and the proposed 6-foot deep front porch will reduce the setback to 19.3 feet. I don't have a significant concern. Again, the master plan recognizes the need and desirability for front porches and states, and I just summarized that the front yard setback should be relaxed up to 10 feet. And here it's just a little bit more than 10 feet of what's required, but I think it's insignificant in terms of the difference. And then, so I think the addition is consistent with the intent of the master plan. And I don't think there are any other variances that are necessary from the other additions. There is an existing shed shown on the property. It's 4.4 feet from the sideline where 5 feet's required. It's not clear if it's a pre-existing condition or if it was installed without proper approvals. But if it's not relocated to a former conforming location, a variance will be required. It should be addressed. And the proposed architectural plans do not show existing floor plans. The proposed plan has 3 bedrooms, and there is only 1 on-site parking space. The state standards require a minimum of 2 parking spaces for a 3-bedroom residence. And if the existing residence has 2 bedrooms, which requires 1 space, a de minimis exception from the residential site improvement standards, and basically that's similar to a waiver for your ordinance, but this is the state residential site improvement standards, which supersede the zoning for the municipality. What's called a de minimis exception would be required from that. So that should be addressed by the applicant also.
Mr. Matlack?
My only comment was that there was a grading plan that was submitted. It was missing some grades at the corners of the proposed additions. So just a minor modification to the plan to show that, and that's my only comment.
Okay,
And Madam Chair, if I may, can I just mark in the exhibits?
yes.
All right, so Exhibit A1 will be the application itself. The Exhibit A2 will be the survey topographic, the survey topo utility plan. Exhibit A3 will be the architectural plans. And then I have the following board exhibits. Exhibit B1 will be the zoning officer's report. Exhibit B2 will be the board planner's report. And Exhibit B3 will be the board engineer's report.
Okay. And Mr. Donahue, if you can tell us about your application, and if you can make sure to address the shed, the missing grades.
Sure. Madam Chair, you do need to swear him in.
Oh, I thought I did. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, so just as they were saying, I'd like to add a front porch. The home already isn't going to meet like any of your setbacks at 30 feet, so we're already, a couple feet forward. So I'm hoping to, have that 6-foot by, was it 27-foot porch addition. So that way, kind of just improves the look and aesthetics of the home, improve the value of the home, improve the neighborhood's value, and curb appeal. And not to mention just it's a nice welcome place for family and friends to come and gather. A nice place to sit out on in the evenings in the summer. So
something we hope to be able to accomplish.
And the shed, is that something that you are,
I can, so the shed was built, I got a permit from you guys, and I had a 1-800-SHEDS or something like that come in and actually do, I'm not kidding. And the guy that
enough
they
numbers.
sent, we marked out, I was out there, and I marked it at 5 foot for him, and I told him stuff here and here, and it looks like he missed one of them.
okay,
We can have it moved if we need to. Otherwise, can it be put in the same variance? with the
I
board?
would suggest what the board has done in the past with situations like this, that you allow the shed to exist where it is, but if it's ever replaced, it has to be replaced in a conforming location.
okay.
Sure. Yeah, we're talking about 0.6 feet, right?
Okay.
Very far.
And the grades, there were missing grades on the survey, I
I can
believe?
get that updated.
Okay,
How many bedrooms are in the house now?
3.
You have 3, so it's same number of bedrooms.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not changing. So the issue of parking, I don't think is an issue because the application is not changing the number of bedrooms.
okay,
It's an existing condition.
okay. Any other testimony?
No.
Okay, questions from the board? Questions or comments from the public? Okay, motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll second.
All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And do we have an offer for positive resolution?
I'll offer.
I'll second.
You got it.
Bullock,
Yes.
Paloma,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you, best of luck. Next case, Perry Nazan, Block 140.17, Lot 11, 713 Asbury Avenue, Ocean, Zone T1. This property is a corner lot fronting on both Asbury Avenue and Overbrook Avenue. The applicant proposes to install a 6-foot solid fence within both of the front yard setbacks. Maximum fence height within the required 30-foot front yard setbacks, 4 feet permitted, 6 feet proposed. Maximum solid fence height within required 30-foot front yard setbacks, 3 feet permitted, 6 feet proposed. And Mr. Nazan, if you can raise your right hand, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth?
Yes.
Okay, and,
Yes, if I can just mark in the following exhibits. Exhibit A1 will be the application, Exhibit A2 will be the plot plan. Then I have the following board exhibits. Exhibit B1 is the zoning officer's report, Exhibit B2 will be the board planner's report, and Exhibit B3 will be the board engineer's report. And I'll swear in our professionals, do our professional swearing testimony they're going to give on this application this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and but the true self from God.
Yes.
I do.
Thank you both.
okay, Mr. Higgins and then Mr. Matlack.
Okay, I don't have a significant problem with the application. Asbury Avenue is a very busy street, and right across the street from this site, there's a rather intensive commercial building that's just under construction. I think it's still under construction. I do have several comments, though. For one thing, the fence extends, the site's a corner lot. And it's on Asbury Avenue and on Brookside Avenue. And the fence extends 6 feet all the way to the front property line on Brookside Avenue, parallel to Asbury Avenue. My suggestion was that either the first 10 feet of that fence from Brookside be lowered to be 3 feet, which would be permitted. The next 20 feet, which is the distance of the front yard setback from Brookside, should be 4 feet, and then step it up to 6 feet for the rest to provide that protection for the rear of the lot and the,
Brookside or Overbrook? I think you're saying the wrong,
what?
I think you're saying the wrong street. Overbrook.
What is it? Oh, okay. I don't know where I got, Overbrook, okay. I don't know where I got Brookside from. It is Overbrook, okay. It's a brook. But, okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing, I think it would be nice if the color of the fence actually matched the color of the house.
Of course.
Yeah. And then the third thing is that normally when the board approves these types of fence variances, there's some landscaping proposed between the fence and the street line. Just to break the fence up a little bit. So, overall, I really don't have a big problem with the application.
Okay.
My only comments were that it's evident that the house was recently constructed. Just a clarification that all the proper permits were obtained, and a detail of the proposed fence should be provided or at least discussed.
Okay.
It's the middle. Right?
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. Mr. Nazan, if you can just tell us about your request, if you can address the proposed feet, the color of the fencing, landscaping. Tell us about your application.
Say that again?
Why do you want the fence?
What?
Why do you
Oh,
want
it's for
the fence?
safety for my kids. They don't run out. They play soccer in the backyard. They'll kick the ball out into the highway and they'll be running after it. So I want to just put one just straight little line fence right across so it blocks that from them kicking the ball through and out into the highway. So it's
Okay.
a busy highway there.
All right, and are you willing to do all those conditions that Mr. Higgins pointed out and Mr.
Yeah.
Yes,
Not a big deal.
all right.
Any
Now,
questions?
is the fence going to be solid all the way up, or is there going to be any lattice or anything on the top
I
of
think
it?
that'd be solid.
Solid, okay.
And solid, just
Yeah.
to get a little bit more
That makes, it
privacy.
makes sense given how busy Asbury Avenue is. But I just wanted to get something
I
on the
mean, now,
record.
we're not going all the way to Asbury. We're going to stay
No,
like 15
yeah,
feet.
yeah, I
off
know
the
you
line.
are, yeah, yeah.
Just
yeah, I
straight
know
line and
that,
that's
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Questions or comments from the public? Okay, motion to,
Set up also with some bushes, trees
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
way up the line there. So you
Yeah.
really won't, maybe don't see the fence once the things grow up. So
That'll be nice, yeah,
Very green and
You're
nice.
gonna put bushes on the street side of the fence.
yeah,
what
yeah,
you're saying.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, between
Correct.
the fence and
Correct,
Asbury. yeah.
correct.
Okay.
okay, motion to close the public hearing.
A motion.
Second.
All in favor of closing the public hearing, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
What happens now?
Okay, is
Yes
there a
or no?
positive resolution?
I'll move for positive resolution.
Second.
With the conditions. With the conditions.
With the conditions.
Conditions.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, best of luck, thank you.
Just so you know, because you asked the question, what happens now is at the March meeting, which is on March 16th? March 21st, there'll be a resolution memorializing this.
So I come back on March 15th?
You don't have to
have
be
to.
here, but on March 21st, they'll adopt a resolution, and then you can get your permit at that
And
point.
you have to, doesn't he have to publish
He
the
has to publish
resolution?
it, there'll be
Yeah.
there'll be things within the
Yeah,
resolution
they-
that you have to follow.
And I think-
Claire can help you
Yeah.
out.
That's
with
why I
that.
just looking at Claire.
Yeah.
She will,
Clear this week.
And then I'll get further submittals, we'll give them to you.
Yes.
okay.
Okay, cool. So now what happens?
You are free to leave.
Go home.
You are
Go home
free.
and relax.
You are approved and free.
Okay, thank you.
You are
God, this is
welcome.
like a courtroom here. Can I go free?
Next case, William,
Everything, you guys.
you too. William Bongiorni, Block 138, Lot 52.01, 900 Roselle Avenue, Ocean Zone R4. Applicant proposes to construct a one-story rear addition, second floor addition, covered front porch, reconstruction of enclosed porch to living space, and rear deck. The scope of work will reconfigure the architectural front of the dwelling to now face Brookside Avenue. And Mr., did I
Bongiorni.
pronounce that Bongiorni?
Yes, one of the very few that get it right.
Okay. If you can raise your right hand, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
Okay, and do you have a professional here with you?
Architect, Mr. Sal Afalita.
Mr., I'm sorry, LaFalita?
Yes,
Okay. And have you testified before this board previously?
not before this board, but other boards.
Can you just briefly tell us about your credentials?
Okay, Salvatore Lafrelita, registered architect, New York and New Jersey, for over 30 years. Graduate of City College of New York. Been doing residential renovations for over 30, 40 years throughout Monmouth County, Ocean County.
Okay, we will accept. And if you can raise your right hand, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
Okay, I will, Mr. Lexstein?
Yes, so I have the following exhibits, Madam Chair. Exhibit A1 will be the application. Exhibit A2 will be the description of the property from JY Land Surveying. It's a survey. Exhibit A3 are the architectural plans. Those are all the exhibits I have from the applicant. I then have the following exhibits on behalf of the board. We have the resolution from 2021. The zoning officer's report is B2. B3 will be the board planner's report, and exhibit B4 will be the board engineer's report. And I'll just swear quickly, our professionals, do you both swear that any testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and but the truth, so?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear from Mr. Higgins and Mr. Matlack first.
Okay. This is a very small lot, and there's variances for front yard setback. This application was before the board several years ago. Some of you may remember it. Basically, rather than go through all the details of the variances, I'll just summarize and say that they're switching things around and making it a much better and much safer situation than what exists and than what was previously approved. So I really don't have a problem with the granting of the variance.
Okay, Mr. Matlack?
My only comment is that the project disturbs more than 200 square feet, and with that triggers the need for a grading plan, which was not provided. But that could be a condition of any approval that a grading plan be submitted. It's a relatively simple addition, so I don't see that as being an issue.
Okay. And Mr. Bongiorni, do you, if you can tell us about your application and is supplying a grading plan an issue?
No, it's not. I spoke to somebody and they said they could do it just last week, so it wouldn't take long. They estimate I could have it in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Can you
it.
tell us about your application and if Mr. LaFolita has any testimony to give also?
First, I just recently bought, and we love the area, and we wanted to make a beautiful house, safe house, beautiful front porch. We wanted to enjoy it. Hopefully, it'd be my last move, and we wanted to make it so we could fit into it. It is a little bit of a small house, so I do need some room, and that's about it, really.
Okay. And Mr. LaFolita, can you tell us about the
It's a
plan.
straightforward second-story addition. Basically, we're completely removing all the walls, including one bedroom on the first floor. There's an existing master bedroom over the garage. This was a renovation that was done probably 10, 15 years ago. We're trying to match the old house with what was recently done on that previous renovation. There's a master bedroom up there now, and there's also an existing one-bedroom large dormer room above the first floor. So we're really going to remove one bedroom on the first floor and adding two on the second floor. So it's a two for two swap, if you will, including the master bedroom. The front porch is going to be rotated around to the Brookside Avenue side. We're closing off the existing front stoop porch / entry on the Roselle Avenue side. And we're trying to bump out what is now considered the rear side of the house, because the front porch constitutes that as the front versus the west side being the side yard. So we'd like to bump that out 10 feet by 17 feet for a kitchen addition, one-story kitchen addition. It's a photograph of the existing house with the addition.
All right, so we got to mark that in as Exhibit A4.
Okay.
And so what you're showing us now are color photographs of.
This is the existing house as it currently is.
From
today.
Brookside.
From the Brookside side. This is where we're proposing to put the front porch, trying to match the roof line of the Dutchman over the garage. And this is what's considered the enclosed front porch now on the Roselle Avenue side, which has been there since when the house was built. It's really a a four-season room. It's got 1950s radiators in it as well. So we'd like to close that off, remove the porch and stoop, and just make that part of the living space.
All right, can you unclip those and just
Yeah.
give it to Claire? We don't need the hardwood.
I didn't make copies for everybody, I'm sorry. There you go.
And we'll mark them both in as A4, two photographs.
So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Just trying to make this a nice two-story house to match what's already there as a two-story.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
My only question is, when you're done, it's all going to look the same,
Absolutely.
meaning you're not going to have two different finishes and things like that.
We're going to match the certain.
A standard thing we talk about, but it looks like that's not what happened the last time the board approved something. I wasn't here when that was voted on.
I'm looking at it right now, and you are.
I was absent that night. But it's in the resolution that everything's supposed to match. Yeah. But good.
Okay,
Good, thank
so
you.
it will match.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Any
And
other,
we'll make sure it matches, right?
Does
Oh.
the board understand the reason why they need the rear yard setback variance? That they're moving the front from Roselle over to Brookside. This is Brookside, this stuff.
Yeah, you got, I saw
And
that.
So by doing that, the rear yard moves from the east to the south side. So the building isn't changing that much, but because that's a side yard now, it's going to become a rear yard, and it technically needs a variance.
okay. Any questions from the board? Okay, questions or comments from the public? Okay, motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and do we have a positive resolution?
Thank you.
I'll second. Resolution.
Okay. Just right over each other.
Fuller,
Yes.
Delano,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Antonazi,
Yes.
Chamorro,
Yes.
Romero,
Yes.
Chairwoman Beal.
Yes. Okay, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, man.
Have a good
Ne-
night.
Next case, Michael Sardar, Block 9.01, Lot 7, 248 Howard Avenue, Elberon, Zone R4. Applicant seeks approval to construct a two-story addition to the front and rear to the dwelling, as well as construct second-floor additions and a covered front porch. Minimum front yard setback 30 feet required, 22.7 feet Howard Avenue, and 27.4 feet Wilson Drive to covered front porch, and 29.6 feet Howard Avenue, and 13.7 feet Wilson Drive to second-floor addition proposed. And the attorney is Mr. Robert Farber.
Madam
Good
Chairman, I can't believe I'm number 7 on the agenda. I love Ocean Township.
Pressure's on you now.
Good evening,
Good
Madam
evening.
Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I represent Michael Sardar, fee simple owner of Block 9.01, Lot 7, 248 Howard Avenue. He wishes to make some substantial revisions to his house, including a front porch, squaring out a certain area. One of the unusual situations tonight is I have David Feldman, who has testified before, and I'll have him qualified in a moment, but there were some neighbors who came here, the Chambers, and I talked to them outside about their concerns, and I think everything's okay, but they'll have a chance to speak and explain everything. But I suspect you'll want to hear from your experts, and then I'll begin. Thank you.
Yes.
So, Madam Chair, the exhibits that I have are Exhibit A1 is the application itself, Exhibit A2 is the topographic survey, Exhibit A3 is revised plot and grading plans, Exhibit A4 will be the architectural plans. And I know Mr. Farber's indicated that he has additional exhibits, so why don't we just start them now?
Right. There are two renderings. that one will be the rendering without the so-called bump out, and I guess A6 will be the rendering with the so-called.
Okay, so A5 rendering with bump, without the
Without.
bump out, and A6 is with the bump out.
That is correct. And
And Mr. Farber, which one are you looking for approval on? Which one would you
we're
prefer?
looking for A6 approval, the one with the bump out.
Okay. And let me just swear in our professionals, do our professionals swear that they, and next meeting I'll do it at the beginning of the meeting. But do you swear that, do you swear that any testimony you're going to give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you both.
It's a corner lot. There are front yard setback variances required on Howard Avenue. 27-foot front setback is to the proposed two-story addition, and a 22.7-foot front setback to the proposed front porch. The second-story addition is basically a vertical extension of the first story. Same type of situation on Wilson Drive. It's a 13.7-foot front setback to for the second-story addition. Again, it's a vertical extension. And a 27.4 front yard setback to the proposed covered front porch. The ordinance requires 30 feet. It's the R4 zone. I really don't have a big problem with the variances. For the most part, the new ones deal with the front porch. And then, not to be redundant, but again, the master plan does recommend relaxing the front yard setback standard for front porches.
Okay.
And then
Mr.
I do discuss the bump out, and I think we just need some testimony as to whether or not aesthetically that's a better alternative than not having the bump out. And I think the architect can discuss that in his testimony. There is an existing shed that's non-conforming, and again, I make the same recommendation that the pre-existing condition can continue, but if the shed is replaced, that it be put in a conforming location. And then the only other thing is that the existing garage has a significant rear yard setback nonconformity. I don't think there's any way to reasonably relocate it, but my suggestion would be, if the board approves the application, that it remain a garage, because otherwise, with the 5 bedrooms, you don't have enough parking on the site. Again, the residential site improvement standards require, let me get a drink here. They require 3 parking spaces for 5 bedrooms. This is a 2-car garage, so that's 2 spaces. And then it allows the driveway to count as a space if the driveway is 20 feet wide. This driveway is only 18 feet wide, but it'll still function as a parking space. So again, the board could grant a de minimis waiver from the residential site improvement standards, and there would be 3 parking spaces. But the garage should remain a garage and shouldn't be used for anything else.
And Mr. Higgins, the walk-up attic, did you still have a,
Well, the ordinance
Question
now
for-
permits that.
oh, okay,
So at the time, when this was reviewed, it didn't permit it.
gotcha. Okay, Mr. Matlack?
A grading plan was provided, and I don't have any issues with it. My only comment was that there was a minor typo on the architectural plans, first floor versus second floor. That should be corrected, and that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Madam Chairman, before I ask you to swear in, or before I ask that David Feldman be sworn in, there are the neighbors across the street, Sarah and Chris Chamber, and I did go over, and generally speaking, they have some concerns, and I will incorporate them when I elicit testimony from Mr. Feldman, just so you can follow along. And I'd ask that David Feldman, who has appeared before this board at least a dozen times with me and probably many dozen times more with other people, be accepted as an architect licensed by the state of New Jersey as an expert in architecture.
Okay, if you can raise your right hand, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
Okay, and we will continue to accept your credentials.
David, can you describe for the board and everybody what is proposed in this application.
Yeah, we're,
And I'm going to move this a little so that the neighbors can see what you're doing. You're welcome to stand up if you can't see them. Okay, if you could just describe for everybody what's going on.
so what we're doing is we're expanding an existing two-story home. On the ground floor, we're adding approximately 335 square feet, so it's pretty minimal. Of the 335 square feet, about 175 square feet of that is living space, and approximately 165 square feet is going to be the exterior porch. The first floor is pretty much going to function in the manner that it functions currently, which is just living space. We enlarged the kitchen area slightly. There's a powder room, a family room, living room, dining area. And then what we did was we created this element, which I'll go into a little bit more detail about in a little bit, where the staircase would go up to the second floor. The second floor got expanded to 5 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. Currently, I believe there's 3 bedrooms that currently exist. Their family is growing and they needed additional bedrooms, so they asked if there was a way that we could expand that. As previously mentioned by your board professionals, we are going on the east side, or Wilson Drive. We are going straight up above the existing first floor, which is not increasing the existing nonconformity. The rest of the second floor, other than the addition to the south where the kitchen is getting bumped out, lines up over the existing, except for in the front area here where we're coming out 12 feet towards Howard and approximately 17 feet 4 inches parallel to Howard, which again is going to create the staircase and the entrance coming in. Just going through the site itself, the lot area where 10,000 is required, 11,588 is existing. There's no change to that and conforms. The buildable area, total buildable lot area is 8,691 square feet, and there's no change to that. The lot width, 90 feet is required. We have 110.6 feet, so that too is conforming, as well as the lot depth where 100 feet is required, and the lot has 100 feet. The variances that come into play is the Howard Street. Currently, the setback to the front is 29.6 feet to the dwelling. We are now proposing 27 feet to the corner of the stairwell, and we're proposing 22.7 to the, 22.7 to the porch. On Wilson, 13.7 is currently existing, and we are maintaining that 13.7 feet. In addition, there is a variance required to the porch from Wilson Street. Again, being that it's 2 front yards, 30 feet is required, and we are proposing 27.4 feet. Everything else, the rear yard, the side yard, are all conforming. As previously mentioned, the accessory structures, both the garage and the shed, are into the side yard setbacks, and we don't envision any changes being made to those 2 structures.
Now, Mr. Feldman, if I may, because the team expressed some concern about this. The attic, there's no livable space per se, it's primarily storage. Can you just describe for the record what's being done?
So the attic space is really just is intended for storage use only. You know, there's no livable space up there. The reason for the dormers is the client likes a lot of light, and again, for an aesthetic exterior perspective, you'll see in the renderings the dormers that were put into play.
So would you accept the condition of approval that the walk-up attic can only be used for storage?
We will not only accept that, we'll accept the issues about the shed and that the garage is to remain exactly as it is now.
Okay.
A two-car garage, there is to be no pool house application. Whatever's there now is what's to stay.
And how is the attic accessed? Is it a pull down
No,
or
it's a
is
sol-
this-
Now, there'll be a
it's
set of
regular
stairs going up to
stairs,
it.
yeah.
is there a door at the beginning of the attic?
Yes. So there'll be a door here with stairs going up, and that underneath the staircase will then be the closet for that bedroom.
I'm sorry, for the closet.
You said bedroom?
Underneath the staircase. So the
Underneath the staircase, okay.
Correct.
So-
Underneath
So
the
the attic doesn't have any closet space or anything like
Correct.
that?
That's correct.
And it's not gonna be finished?
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
That'll also be a condition, there will be an unfinished attic? Okay, and not living space?
As far as the elevations, it's kind of ironic.
Why don't you show what's proposed, because then, or why don't I take this one?
Yeah. Well, let me just go for this one. So,
I'll hold it. I'll just hold it.
What's that? Why are they showing us what they don't want? Why don't they show us what's proposed?
So this is what we drew originally.
And this is A6 with the
This
bump
is
out?
A5.
This is A5.
This is A5. So this was what was originally drawn up and presented to the client. As you can see, there's no bump out or window seat, which we are now currently proposing to the right, nor is there a bump out accentuating the staircase and entry on the left. So when we proposed that, we kind of felt that it was a really flat facade and didn't have very much architectural character.
So this is A6.
So what we then did was, we went to A6, okay, which now has entered into the equation the window seat and the staircase. And the staircase is really what's coming into question with regards to the 30-foot setback. And what's even more ironic is when I came walking in tonight, the attorney was out in the hallway talking with the clients.
Well, the chambers were the neighbors.
Well, I'm sorry, the neighbors. And we pulled out both renderings, and their first inclination was, well, this is a box and we don't like boxes. And I said, well, that's why we designed the alternative, which is what we're trying to get approved tonight.
So as just to emphasize, the neighbors prefer to bump out because it's less fuss. And while we're talking about the chambers, who are, they can testify and identify, but they were concerned about lighting issues with the front porch because sometimes there's bright lights. They have a beautiful sunroom. They don't want to be annoyed at night. There you go. And one of the things is that, and Mr. Feldman, please correct, there are recessed lights underneath here that will shine down.
That's correct.
There's not going to be any, for lack of a proper architectural term, disco lights or anything bright around the top that's going to shine outward.
That is correct.
The plan is just down,
Correct.
so it
Onto the
will-
porch surface.
and it will minimize any overage of lighting, so it will not
Yes.
affect neighbors.
Yes. That is correct. And, you know, we could submit specs on that lighting to your township engineer for his review and approval as well.
And as a condition, we will agree that the lights have to shine down and nothing beyond.
Correct.
Alrighty.
Other than that, I think that's the extent of.
Now, They're going, Mr. and Miss Chris and Sarah Chambers are at 247 Howard. And they're avians. They love birds and they're concerned about birds flying into windows, i.e. poor Falco or whatever the name of the owl in New York this week that was all over the Times. But there's really nothing from a planning we can do other than, my client can speak and put stickers or some kind of thing that will distract birds. That's not really within your realm, but I believe I'm done with Mr. Feldman if the board has any questions.
Okay. I do have a question. The fencing that's there, are there any changes to that, or that's an existing fence? Vinyl and aluminum, are there any changes to that, or am I missing?
The fencing is going to stay exactly the same. My client just walked in, and he told me the fencing is going to stay exactly the same.
Okay. Any questions from board members?
Is the entire house being re-sided?
Yeah, it's gonna be stuck on.
Do you have a picture of the existing house?
I do not. I could probably Google Earth it.
Don't, because you can't mark a Google Earth photograph on your phone into evidence unless you want to give us your phone.
This rendering, where would we be standing if we were looking at the house from here?
You'd be
Is that on
standing
Howard?
in the northwest corner of Howard and Wilson.
Okay.
Looking from the corner, so this is Wilson. To the right, Howard is in the front of the home, so you'd be standing at the corner of Wilson and Howard.
So
The driveway would be back here.
back there. So on the right side of the picture, there's a tree. Would that tree actually be in the street if we were looking at the real configuration of the roads?
This tree?
Yeah.
I guess the question is, does that tree actually exist?
I don't think
Yeah.
that tree's there.
Yeah.
There's no tree
Yeah.
there. There's
I
no
feel
tree.
like, correct me if I feel like as we're looking at this, there's actually a road on the right side of the house, right?
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
So there's not that much green.
No, if you look at, in proportion, that's, so this space here is about 17 feet or so. If you look at from here to where the green edge is here, it's probably a little less, if not the same. So it's pretty close.
Mr. Fuller, if you have any questions about the exact configuration right now, I'm more than happy to present Mr. Sarter to testify and answer those questions. And if you wish, I'll be happy to do that when we're done with Mr. Feldman and the audience asks any.
Does he have pictures of what it looks like now versus what it would?
I do. It looks nothing like that.
We can't take photos.
I know we can't take, I know, I
But he
mean,
wants to see
That's
it.
there, right there.
Fine.
I want to make sure what I've seen
No, but
is
no, I'm not,
correct.
we can't allow photographs off a phone to be marked into evidence.
Understood.
So
Yeah,
we
but I don't
can't.
think it's
I understand the
that
board
tree.
wants
That's
to, it
just
would be
a
a good idea if the applicant
render.
had somehow presented photographs.
Yeah, that's my point. I'm not asking for somebody to show me a picture on
Yeah,
the phone.
no, I understand that, he
Yeah,
was just
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I hear you.
So
we can't.
basically, if you look at the existing house now from the front, it's kind of more like an A. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the bottoms of the A, are we bringing the bottom out as well? Or are we just going straight up from where the existing
Say
bottom?
the bottoms of the A.
So the house is like this,
Correct.
right? Are we bringing out further, or are you just going straight up?
We're going straight up.
And that doesn't affect the pool equipment, anything on?
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Any
Going
oth-
straight up on the Wilson side, and then back by the garage, there's that small little bump out that's indicated on the, got it.
Is the pitch of the house changing direction? The roof?
I know, I just need them to show it, because I can't. Sorry.
So this side we're going straight up with, here, and then we're adding a 9x5/8 extension on the south side of the property between the house and the current garage. And then on the other side is where we're creating the stairwell, which is also a little extension. But the house isn't getting wider than what it currently is.
Yeah, it's not getting wider, but going straight up certainly it intensifies the look and it's a change.
Is the pitch changing directions?
Yes, yeah, currently the existing house
That's what I thought, okay.
has a peak
And now
towards
you're-
Howard.
yeah, now you're
And now
rot-
we're turning it towards Wilson.
And the side of the house is closer, the existing condition is it's closer than it ought to be, right? To the property line there.
Existing east side towards Wilson
Yep.
is currently non-conforming.
You're right, yeah. And so going up is, exacerbates that, okay.
But they're bumping it out also.
That doesn't help in my mind.
Any other questions?
Yeah. The, go back to the the renderings, the pictures.
Anyone in particular or both?
Either one doesn't really matter. Either, the question I have. So the stairwell, I assume that's all open on the left side there?
Yeah.
So, and that's going to be storage on the top. I really don't see a need for the dormer on the top. If it's going to be truly storage, to me, that doesn't add any aesthetic value to the house.
Yeah,
Other than somebody converting that to a room later.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but again, there's you know, the aesthetic value that I saw in the dormer, as well as bringing some natural light in to the attic area as well, so.
But to the board's point, it invites someone to put a bedroom in there. I very rarely see an attic with windows like that.
Natural light, if you're going to store something, I've spent 20 years in it cleaning, but you're going to bleach it out with light. The stairwell going up to the third, what's going to be above the second floor in the stairwell? Is that this all going to be open?
This is just high volume. That staircase doesn't go up to the third floor.
Yeah, I'm opposed to the dormer.
Any other questions or comments from board members?
Are there other homes on the street that look like this? Do you know?
My client can testify to that if you wish.
I don't know how the board feels. Is the board in agreement with Mr.
Lineski.
Lineski, in agreement with Mr. Lineski that perhaps that top dormer doesn't make much sense, being that it's got windows and could become a bedroom? Despite the condition. And one of the problems with a condition like that is there's no way to enforce it. I mean, it's there on your resolution, and the only way anyone's going to know whether it turned into a bedroom or not is if a neighbor says, I think there's something going on up there, and someone's living up there. But you're not in the house.
Does anyone else want it removed? I'm okay with leaving it. I could certainly see.
And there's stairs going up to it. It's not like a pull down.
But I think that it's
It's
short.
normal stairs going to a door that then lead into the room.
I thought there wasn't a door.
There is a door.
There's a door.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
There's
walk-up
a door
attic.
on the second floor that you open to then go up. into
What's the height? If you're standing in there, what's the height?
I'm sorry?
If you're standing in the space, what's the height?
What is the height of, is this a stand-up area?
Yeah, so in the center, we depicted these dotted lines here. So in the center is where the 8-foot mark is, which is roughly about 6.5 feet in width. And then it starts to slope down to 7, 6, 5, all the way down to
So it's 8 feet or it's
8
6?
feet in the middle.
8 feet in the center.
8 feet for 6 feet. And then tapers down. So the ceiling is pitched down with the roof.
Yeah, it's a gable roof, so in the center where the gable is, you obviously have, so this line here that's indicated on the plan, which is about 6.5 feet or so, is the 8-foot height in the center. Now, coming across this gable to the back of the home is really maybe about a foot or so. That's only 8 feet, and then it slopes down to relatively quickly. So there's not a whole lot of space up there. That's at 8 foot, except, like I said, down the center and where the dormers are.
How high is the wall where it slopes down? What's the height of the wall at the
Here,
Yeah,
we set those at 5 feet.
okay.
So, a question to the experts. If the dormers weren't there, there would be no egress. So legally, you could not have a bedroom there, correct?
Well, I don't know the building code,
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Building
Well,
code.
that's a building code question.
And you
Yeah, I
couldn't-
mean, legally, they're, because of what they're agreeing to, they're not allowed to have a bedroom there.
I know, but I'm
So
just saying
if you
that
get
if
the
you could get
dormer-
it with the windows, it gives you egress.
Again, to maybe ease the board's concern, this was a conversation we had with the neighbors across the street, who said that they would police this if the attic ever. If ever when the time came and the attic was converted without permits or illegally.
What's the square footage of that?
But with the window also
I'd
wouldn't
have
provide
to,
egress if you're
calculate that.
up 2
The
stories.
square footage at the.
I can't get
8
out.
feet, if I had to guess, I'd say.
It's not gonna be.
If I may just address something just before there's any more testimony elicited. I spoke to the client. He likes the look with that, but at its widest point, it's 6 feet. I don't see even getting a bed in there. I don't see it ever working as that. However, he really does like the look of the dormer. And if the dormer is a problem in its current form, and we came back with a smaller, lower dormer, would that address concerns? Or are you folks just dead set against any dormer? Because it's just a design that he likes.
I think, for me personally, the fact that the attic has been set at 8 foot clear, with the angles coming down to 5 feet, has pulled your roof eave up. Essentially, your roof springs from the top of the second floor, whereas if you weren't trying to provide a clear attic, you could spring from the first floor. And
No, the roof would still spring from the ceiling of the second floor.
maybe halfway through, or I guess I'm just saying.
No, it would, because if we lower that roof down to what you're suggesting.
Yep.
You then create the slopes within the rooms on the second floor.
Sure, but with dormers, you could get the clear height that you're looking for. So I think you've made a decision as a designer to raise the entire house to that spring point of the top of the second floor, because you're trying to get a nice height within the attic, and it actually exacerbates that setback, like Mr. Fuller was saying here. I think it could have been a lighter touch with the roof springing from a lower point if you
But
weren't
then you're
trying
gonna
to.
lose that head height on the second floor bedrooms, is what I'm saying.
Yes, you would.
So then the second floor bedrooms start to be devalued.
Potentially.
In a sense. I mean, we are conforming to the ordinance height of the structure, overall height. So I'm not sure where it springs from, as long as we conform to the ordinance with regards to the height of the structure. You know, I'm looking at pictures around here, and they all spring from the second floor ceiling, the roofs, and not drop.
From a conceptual standpoint, a house to have a roof that springs from the second floor is perfectly reasonable. But you're asking to do that where you're already in a setback. So to Mr. Fuller's point, you're extending that point of the house that's in the setback a full story, where you could potentially, if you weren't trying to gain height within the attic, spring from a lower point.
So a question, if the dormers were removed, it would just be the slope?
If this dormer, for example, was removed,
It would,
this roof would just continue all the way down.
but still the same height?
Yes.
Is that dormer part of the building that requires the setback variance?
No, that's conforming to the 30-foot setback off the street. Yeah. In both directions, I believe. I mean, we didn't calculate that, because I didn't know if that was, but I believe that dormer, so what your professional is asking is the face of this dormer, does that meet your 30-foot setback? And the answer is yes to Howard, because this face of the existing house is currently at 29.6. So this dormer being set back would be roughly 32, maybe 33 feet. Now, off of Wilson, it's a different situation. So I think it was calculated to the porch that we were, so from Wilson to here, it was calculated that it's 27.4. Okay, I'm assuming again, from Wilson to where this dormer is, if you look at, you know, where the dormer falls with regards to where the porch is, that as well exceeds the 2.6 feet needed in order for that dormer to be 30 feet off of Wilson as well. So to answer your question, yes.
Are the
If I
dormer,
just may ask David, this is the area right in the corner where the variance is required, am I correct?
Yes.
Doesn't really go over here. It's
Correct.
just this corner right here.
Right, it's this corner to Wilson that's 27 feet.
It's the whole bump out.
Yeah, it's just the
It
bump
is.
out. It's
And the
not
canopy.
any of this. This
But-
is all.
But Mr. Farber, so the concern over that attic space from Mr. Lineski is whether it could become a bedroom or not. We understand that you're agreeing it's not going to become a bedroom. But the reality is if it did become a bedroom, it's going to affect your parking count and everything like that. So that's why it's a concern. And I think I'm not sure how the whole board feels, but some of the board members obviously are concerned with the way the attic is currently presented, that it basically is inviting someone to renovate it into a bedroom. And I think that's what the concern is, despite what the conditions of the approval are. And I could also, if it helps the board, and I'm not suggesting either way because it doesn't really resolve the issue, but would you agree to record the resolution as a condition of approval, which says clearly in it that it can't be used as an attic for a future homeowner, to be on notice?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I don't know if that resolves the issue, but at least that's a further protection against it being utilized. But I think Mr. Lineski's concern still is there, regardless of whether it's a deed restriction or not.
Yeah, I just want to clarify something too. It's currently proposed as a 5-bedroom house, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the RSIS, the maximum number of parking spaces that are required are 3 for a house that is 5 bedrooms or more. So if there were 10 bedrooms, it would still only require 3 parking spaces.
The other thing is, we just spoke with the client. He's also willing to only put a pull-down staircase up to the attic, as opposed to a walk-up set of stairs.
I'd be in favor of that.
I think that's acceptable.
That would be good.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Pull down.
Pull down
The
versus.
client is willing to remove the set of stairs that go all the way up, a walk-up set of stairs, in lieu of removing the dormers and putting in just a pull-down staircase.
Mr. Lineski, does that?
Okay.
Well, you'd really have to hate your children if you made that into a.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Put them up there and just close it.
Any other questions from board members?
Can I ask our professionals if they know of any other houses on the street that are of this style? I have not seen.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah,
It's
this
irrelevant.
isn't
Yeah,
a-
it really, yes, there are no architectural standards for controlling the appearance of a house in the township. So if the board were to try and impose something like that on the applicant, Mark may disagree with me, I don't know, but if they were trying to impose that kind of an issue, I think it would have a problem if it went to court.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree only for this. They are asking for variances.
Yeah, they are asking for
So,
variances.
and one of the criteria for presumably getting a C2 variance relief would be the aesthetics. And if the aesthetics are going to be out of conformity with the entire neighborhood, I think the board could take that into some consideration.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that.
So to that effect, but I don't know the answer
Yeah, yeah.
about the neighborhood of whether that
Yeah,
fits
if it was
in.
an undersized lot, then it would
You
be
couldn't do anything, I get it.
out
but-
of character
but
with the
when
neighborhood, but since it's an oversized lot,
You're
And-
exacerbating an
yeah, yeah.
existing issue. It's not staying in the character of what's there.
Yeah.
Mr. Fuller, I imagine that if the chambers are probably going to be very easy to tell you whether or not there's anything in the neighborhood
That's
that
true,
looks like
yeah.
that or not.
We could just move on.
So you may find out
Yep.
very quickly.
Okay, any other questions from board members? Questions from the public? Or comments from the public? If you can go to the microphone, Mr. Chambers?
Mr. Chambers, I'm going to swear you in and ask your name and address, just for the record, okay? All right, when you get up to the mic, that'll all be on the record.
Testing.
All right, Mr. Chambers, do you swear any testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And just state your name for the record.
Chris Chambers,
And what's your address, Mr. Chambers?
247 Howard Avenue.
Howard Avenue. Thank you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
The first thing I want to do under oath is to say to my neighbor, I did not promise to police the third floor.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
I want to bring up several things. To your question a while ago, and then one of the features you mentioned, David, as neighbors, we live directly across the street on Howard Avenue. We're 50, 60 feet away from your new front porch, Mike. We actually do prefer this bump out look, by the way, because we like that relief. This relates to your question a while ago with regards to other houses like this in the neighborhood. This is better. There are two other what we call stucco covered cubes. If you know what I'm talking about, we don't really care for this. This is quite beautiful. David, thank you for that. So yeah, we like the look. I hope it goes forward, but there are several concerns that we do have. Several have been mentioned. Certainly, I realize the new apex is 34 and change feet high. It's a taller house than we see across from our front door right now, like roughly 9 feet. We were concerned when we renovated back in 17. We believed that that was the max house height, and the third story could not be used for any room, bedroom, etc. And I just want to confirm that with the lawyer this evening, and I heard this confirmed to me already, so that's good to know. My second concern has to do with lighting. I talked with the lawyer and the architect out front before this meeting. And one thing we've noticed in a lot of the renovations, especially of this design in our neighborhood, is that there are lights all over the place. There are lights shining outward, lights shining down. In fact, it looks somewhat like the new Terminal A, the Newark Airport in most cases, with the intensity of lighting, and we don't appreciate that. So what David mentioned is the lights are going to be recessed, which is good, because it's not just an issue of intensity, number of lumens in that light, but how many lights there are, and are they directed outward, inward, or is there any shade on them? So I just ask if any lights are hanging on any front porches in our neighborhood, put a shade so that the neighbor isn't, insulted by this 24-hour-a-day light shining towards their house. So that's been obviated, as my understanding. So that's good to hear. The third point, which hasn't been brought up to this group yet, has to do with these the windows that you see on the front side of the house. There you see 6 here, and around the back corner there's 4 more. So that's a total of 10 windows, each roughly 5 by 5 feet, so 25 square feet. So in total, that's 250 square feet of picture window. Now for us, my wife and I, we're naturalists. We have some great native plant species in our yard. We feed birds, etc. Those windows are death traps for birds. The birds may fly right into them, and that's the end of the bird. So what I would suggest is either some kind of, I'm not sure there's a naturalist on this board, but some kind of bird death preventative mechanism, decals, stickers, what have you. But one would be to have these other picture windows, to have them in glass with mullions, like the other windows, to match the other windows. The birds will see that and not fly into these large picture windows. So that was one concern that we had. I think that's it.
That's it?
So
Okay. Thank you.
Is there a naturalist on the board?
Well, they make frit glass. They make dotted fritted glass that prevents birds. That's a bird deterrent in towers.
That's good.
That's how they do it. They either put lines in it or put dots in it.
But it looks natural.
Curtains.
Well, no, it's a pattern that you can see from the outside. It's but
it's
they make it a name, Jason, not better than me, but
yeah. I mean, it's a readily available product. The glass is manufactured with it's sandblasted to create the frits, and it's a pattern, and
I think it would be good.
it could look pretty elegant. It can look very intentional. If it's not, which actually your point and the design in terms of that's a stairwell, so I don't imagine you're going to be standing on the stair looking out the window where the fritted glass would become an issue. If it were kind of like a bedroom or somewhere where you have a window seat where you're gazing out the window often, that's a different story. But I don't think it would really interrupt the views out, and it would certainly help the
the bird issue. So it's an interesting point to bring up, and there are ways to remedy that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be a good new pattern for our neighborhood, let me say that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chambers.
Sure, thank you.
My main concern is that everybody is comfortable with the pull down and the understanding that there may be a condition that is part of this application, that a notice will be published. Strike that, filed with the county clerk, a condition that the third floor cannot be used as a bedroom. Assuming that does the board see any difficulty with the application with the existing dormers proposed?
I think everyone was okay with that. Is the
I just
indication I
wanted to
got.
clarify.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as the windows, you don't have a historical preservation ordinance or anything that can control window selection, but my client will certainly be mindful and maybe hang some draperies or do something that, even if it's a sticker or something in the windows, to try and avoid that. But that's just something he will do because he wants to be a good neighbor, just as do the Chambers.
So he may not be happy if birds start flying into his window.
No, he won't. Like Sarah Chambers said to me before, if he finds here's 2 or 3 good thumps and sees dead birds, his kids aren't going to like it either.
Wait, I just want to revisit this. You don't need a historical preservation anything. Why can't we ask you to change the windows as suggested?
I don't think that's a well, look, I'm not going to argue over it.
I think we can if people want to. I'm not saying we will, but I certainly think we can.
I mean, that's part of the area where the bump out is. I mean, isn't that part of the area that triggers the
Yeah,
variance?
that is the bump out.
Yeah, so.
I like your attempt to say we can't. Kudos to you, but I certainly think we can.
I mean, there are variances, so I don't think I don't think it's out of line if, I mean, I could argue theoretically that a negative of the application is that there are open glass windows that are going to attract birds that are going to fly in, and therefore that is a negative to the birds. But that's why I'm a lawyer, so I try
Me
to.
too. That's why I am too. That's why I bring it up.
Kind of glass design that distracts birds?
I'm not.
There are glass designs that attract them.
There are. That's why they put them in high rises.
I had a neighbor who seriously
Yeah,
had,
they put them in high rises.
And that's why we have an architect here to know the.
I mean,
Jason, Mr. Chummer, are you familiar with some kind of glass design we could use?
Yes, as I said, they make an applied product or a fritted glass where it's part of the glass itself. It's not applied. That can be.
I've built numerous high rises, and they specifically put this type of glass
Are
in
there
high
other-
rises on purpose so that
Were there other
birds don't fly
recommendations
into 'em.
also, like something inside or something applied, sticker-wise?
can, yeah.
That
Yeah, I mean,
remedies?
you can apply stickers to the inside, or you can have the glass etched. Like
there are things that can be done.
So,
There are things that
that
can
aren't
any
over
one of
the
those?
Yeah, you can look it up.
Yeah, the
Just
stickers are
Google it. It's
same
bird
as the
deterrence in glass.
Imagine he'd use
'Cause
a
with-
sticker on the, I think it would devalue the house and the windows. I think you'd want.
Or a drape,
Well,
is it
they
a
film it.
drape or?
It's a film.
It's a film
It's
or
a
a
film.
sticker or something.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that the
He'd want,
drape would work. I'm not sure.
They're very nice designs.
I just spoke to my client, and it's not readily apparent from a distance, so I'll show it up nice and close. Come here, please. I want you to see this. If you look at the windows here, folks, you can see there's like 2/4, if you will. There's a design.
Oh, I see
And
it.
they're
Okay.
willing to find something similar to put there so they're not straight glass.
So
And
vertical
that may
mullions.
help
That would help.
alleviate the problem.
Yeah, it does.
And you can put that in. I mean, I hear this in Allenhurst all the time, not hear a deal, but fine, if you want to put that in. Isn't it? Go put it in.
So what are you going to, so Mr. Parber, I'm sorry, so specifically what would this be?
David, what do you call these elements in a window?
Mullions.
They'll be mullions.
Can someone spell that for me?
MULLIONS.
All right, so mullions will be installed.
Mullions.
Will be installed in the stairway windows.
So they're not straight it's not straight
It's not a
glass.
picture window anymore, they're a casement or, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
It'll be that or stickers, but there will be some glass bird control that is put in.
All right, what I'm gonna do is, how about we do the Mullins or some other form of bird prevention, subject to the review of Bennett, so I'll put it on you, and I'm sure CME will figure it out, but is everyone okay with that?
Put it on
So
Jason.
he'll verify. You put it on Jason. Bennett can talk to Jason and see if it works, if he needs someone.
I think that's fair.
Send you a set of drawings I'm looking at right now.
Any other testimony, Mr. Farber?
If the board would like, but it is now been almost 40 minutes, my client did testify what the block looks like, but based upon what the homeowners across the street said, I don't believe that's necessary.
Okay. Okay.
Unless the board wants it. I mean,
Unless you guys want to hear it.
Does anyone need to hear it?
Yeah, I'll move to close the hearing.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Okay, is there a motion for a positive resolution with the conditions that I'm sure Mr. Lexstein has duly noted?
I have them, yes.
Okay. I'll offer. Well, I'll second. Okay.
Fuller,
Yes.
Palumbo,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
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 Monroe,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Next.
you very much.
Next case, Melissa Stark, Block 25, Lot 109, 245 Delaware Avenue, Oakhurst, Zone R4. The applicant proposes to construct a one-story addition and deck to the rear of the dwelling. Minimum side yard setback, 10 feet required,
The renderings, you got it.
1.7 feet proposed. Minimum both side yards combined setback, 25 feet required, 19 feet proposed. No.
Do you have them?
If you
I actually, yes,
If you
hold
have
on.
them if you have them in small, I'm sorry, if you have them in, well, no, give them to Claire. How many copies do you have? Just two? Okay, just the one. That's fine.
I could get you some more.
No, we're good.
This is A6.
And that's much better to have them that way rather than the way the card. Okay, great.
Okay,
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Okay, maximum coverage, building 27% of buildable lot area, or 810 square feet permitted, 37.3%, or 1,119 square feet proposed. And Ms. Stark, if you can raise your right hand, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and do you have an expert here
Yes,
with you?
architect.
Okay, architect, and your
Yes.
name is?
James Connor with MSA Architects.
And have you testified before this board?
Not before this board, no.
Okay, can you tell us about your credentials, please?
Yes, I'm a New Jersey State licensed architect. I went to Drexel University. I've been working in the field in Monmouth County for since 2001. You know, I've done a lot of homes especially in this town, working with MSA. So.
Okay, we'll accept, Mr. Connor.
And I just want to make sure, is it C-O-N-N-E-R?
OR.
O-R.
If you can raise your right hand, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
Okay, turn it over to Mr. Higgins and then Mr. Matlack.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Oh, sorry.
If I just can, yes. So Exhibit A1 will be the application, Exhibit A2 will be the survey, Exhibit A3 will be the grading plan, Exhibit A4 will be the architectural plans, and then I have the following board exhibits. Exhibit B1 will be the zoning officer's report, Exhibit B2 will be the board planner's report, and Exhibit B3 will be the board engineer's report, and then I'll swear in the experts, our experts. We both swear in testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you both.
Mr. Higgins?
Again, I'll summarize. What you have here is it's the R4 zone, which requires 10,000 square foot lots. This is a 4,000 square foot lot, 40 feet wide, 100 feet deep, with a small one-story residence on it the applicant's proposing to extend the residence to the rear with just another one-story addition to try and make the house more livable. I mean, it's a classic hardship situation. The required side yard setback is 10 feet. What exists is 2.7 feet. And because the house is not exactly parallel to the side lot line, by extending the house straight back, the side setback goes down to 1.7 feet. I don't have a big problem with that. It probably could be offset a little bit to maintain the 2.7-foot setback, but I think we need the architect to discuss that and why it's being done. Basically, the variances are all created because of the existing conditions of the site, the undersized nature and the location of the building. There is a garage or a shed that's set back at the rear of the site that doesn't conform, and again, I would make the same recommendation that it be allowed to continue, but if it's ever replaced, it has to be put in a conforming location.
So, Mr.
And
Higgins.
the garage also is.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
The garage also has a setback requirement. It should be 10 feet, and it's 1.6 feet.
So, Mr. Higgins, am I correct, based upon what you just said, that what they're doing isn't triggering any new variances?
It's triggering new variances, but just minor.
Okay.
Because the house is not parallel to the side lot line, so if you extend the side of the house directly back, it'll get closer to the side lot line.
Thank you.
Mr. Matlock?
The applicant provided a plan with grades, but it looks like not proposed grades, so just a grading plan that shows spot elevations at the corners of the proposed addition should be provided. And this is a minor inconsistency with regard to the garage. It looks like their garage finished floor elevation is 39.8, but the driveway in front of it is 37.8. There's nothing proposed with the garage, so this is just kind of something to just clean up the existing grades, and that's all I have.
Okay. Ms. Starr, can you tell us about your application, please?
Yes, so we have a little tiny house. I got this house for my mom after my dad passed away. So she lives there by herself. I think it's about 600 square feet. And where we're proposing to make this room is where there's an existing deck. The shed was already there. Everything was already there. This is the first renovation we're requesting to do. And it's really just to, my mom's getting older. She's almost 70. I don't live in New Jersey. I live in New York. And I just want to be able to come spend more time with her as she's getting older and there's more room in the house. When I come now, because it's so small, I kind of set up shop in the living room. So it would just be nice to have a little more space, to be there more often. And so where the existing deck is, we're proposing this room and sort of like a sunroom, but just I can put the suitcase, in there and that kind of thing. So it just it makes the house a little more livable for more than one person.
Okay. And Mr. Connor?
Yes.
You can elaborate, please.
First, to address the inconsistencies on the grading plan, we've had them corrected, and we'd like to submit them into further evidence. Noting that the garage slab elevation is at 37.94, not as previously recorded at 39.8. As well, we've also included those spot elevations that were requested. So if I can pass.
So what's the date on the revised?
The date of the revised is 2/14/24.
Okay, thank you. Revised grading plans. I'm going to mark that as Exhibit A5.
We'll pass back.
Yeah, so the man who really needs it.
Oh,
Jordan.
Not to take anything away from the board, but.
since we're also passing things out, there was an error in the calculations done originally, where it was originally the maximum building coverage and the maximum impervious coverage was based on the total lot area and not the buildable lot area. So we've also made those corrections as well.
This is going to be A6, and what are you passing out?
Just a revised cover sheet from page 1 of 3.
So this is a revised first page of your architectural plan?
Yes.
All right, revised cover sheet, and what's the date?
Is 2/9/24.
2/9/24, all right, so it's a revised cover sheet of A3. Okay.
I'll make sure they get these first. So as Mrs. Stark was saying, the home is existing, non-conforming. It is a rather small home, one of the original bungalows from this section that's still remaining. And what we're basically taking on is in an effort to keep the costs as economical as possible, going straight out with the best for tying into the existing foundation. And also, by going straight out with the kitchen area, it allows us to enlarge the kitchen a little bit, again, with possible mobility issues coming into play later in life, having a little bit more space to turn and, God forbid there's a walker or some assistance needed later, it gives a little bit more room in the kitchen for a person of advanced age to work. Also allowing Ms. Stark to work in the kitchen with her mother, spending that quality time together. Again, we just are adding, tacking on another 15 feet of residence to the home, which also is an enlarged living room, again, allowing for more circulation space around the furnishings, while also providing a much-needed closet for Ms. Stark to visit her mother when she was down from the city. And also, we are adding a 6'2.5" wood deck out of the back, just to utilize the backyard a little bit better without requiring stairs or steps to get down, so her mother can go outside without having that risk of falling.
She likes to read on the deck.
And in doing so, we tried to keep the character of the existing home. As you can see from the front elevation, it is a very modest home. We didn't want to affect too much of the existing architecture, so we just extended the roof line straight out back and put in these fixed doors that will not open, just to give a little bit more light into that room. Again, so it's more of a sunroom type addition rather than a full solid addition. On the one side, we did, because of our closeness to the property line, we're going to have some fire rating that we have to adhere to. So that's why there was limited, there's no openings in the proposed addition on that side, so we can achieve that required fire rating as to not, become a danger to the neighbors.
Is the 1.7 feet adequate for maintenance of the house?
I believe so. I mean, it is really only that one corner that becomes 1.7, and we already have 2.7.
I know it's 2.7.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I believe it would.
It's an additional foot. That's the only real concern I had.
I do believe it would be still maintainable. You can still get a rake in to get the leaves out from collecting there. But I mean, other than that, we're proposing low maintenance exterior, so painting is not going to be an issue. We're going to use vinyl siding. Power washing, we can spray from a distance, so we can get in there. So yeah, I believe maintenance is definitely achievable. And again, just the elevation facing the rear, just providing some large window or large doors that will open out to the back deck, just to enjoy nature a little bit. And that is really the whole sum of our application. Yeah, that's the old one. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions?
One thing for the board's consideration is, and I didn't cover that when I was summarizing my report, but the existing building is 882 square feet. The ordinance requires a one-story building in this zone to be a minimum of 1,300 square feet. They're expanding it, they're not getting to the 1,300, but they're getting closer, so they're making that one non-conforming condition quite a bit better.
Okay.
Can you repeat what's required?
1,300
1,300 and
for a one-story.
And they have what?
882 now, and they're going to 1,119.
1,119
Yes.
proposed. Okay,
Yes.
great, thank you.
The addition's gonna match the rest of the house?
Yes, it's gonna match and finish. You know, the roof is gonna match it. Everything's gonna blend in as seamlessly as possible.
Any other questions?
One quick question. The neighbors, as you're looking to the house to the right, how does their house match up with your existing house?
You mean, how close is it?
Well, no, like how far back? Here's my question. The air conditioning unit you currently have is right behind the house.
Mhm.
So you're going to move back the house, and the air conditioning unit will also go with it. So is that moving actually further away from your neighbor's house technically at that point?
The air conditioner?
Yeah, the condenser.
Are we moving that? We are,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, just for the.
Yes, it would be technically.
Yeah.
It would be moving further away from.
Yeah, it
Neighbor's
does
house,
move
right?
further back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's good.
So there's a fence on that side?
There's a fence on that side.
Whose fence is it?
It's the neighbor's fence.
It's the neighbor's fence.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Questions or comments from the public? Motion to close the public hearing?
No motion.
Second.
All in favor of closing?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, and positive resolution.
I'm up for a positive resolution.
I will second. With the conditions.
Oh, yes, with the, I
Are
believe
there-
about
are
the
there any
shed.
conditions?
It was about the
It's the same thing with the shed, that the
Yeah.
shed's
Yeah.
removed,
Yeah.
it's gotta be conforming, but we're gonna leave it where it is right now. I know that then they have to, that was really the only condition, right? They have to
Yeah,
comply with
yeah, the
plan.
garage is non-conforming too, but I don't see how you can move it to a conforming location on this.
Right.
I think the shed was proposed to be removed.
It's really old. I think we were just gonna take it down anyways.
Okay.
It's been there.
Well, should we make that a condition then, you're gonna remove the shed? Is that what
We
you're doing?
are removing the shed as
Yeah.
part of this, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so remove shed. Okay, that's what goes that.
Okay,
Yes.
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 yes. Okay, best of luck.
Thank you so much.
And a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.